Stuart McConaughey, welcome to the Digital Farm. We're here in Canberra. It's a cold Monday morning. We've just had breakfast. I was worried during breakfast that the bacon may have come from imported pork, and when I had an orange juice I was worried that we maybe had Brazilian concentrate, which is low cost and low quality. Are these things important in the food industry today?
I think you'd recognise that the consumer of today is becoming a lot more savvy, and there are more questions about the provenance of food, where it comes from, how it's delivered to your plate, and those questions are a very, very valid response from most consumers these days.
A lot of this fear about provenance seems to be driven from Asia, and including China and India, where there's a lot of counterfeiting going on. Is it a real concern here at home in Australia?
Most definitely it is, with producers where we have instances that producers, for example with wine, will produce X amount of bottles, and within a very short span of time you'll have that number of bottles expand dramatically. Now, they all believe that they're very, very good, but they're not quite godlike in that they can create more wine. So therefore it's got to be fraud. And you only need to look at the Benfolds wine, which has been marketed in China, which is a blatant rip-off of the Penfolds brand, is another true case of wine fraud. Technology has, in the commercial world, and in Melbourne, Sydney and all capitals, has been a driving force between change and industry. Agriculture has somewhat been left behind to a degree in the technology advancement, and we see that the farmers of today are now starting to realise that they need to catch up to that level of experience. And as a company, Aglive have developed a complete validation traceability model to deliver what we call is true provenance for the consumer and true validation of the source of product from the farm.
Is this world first technology, and if so, can you tell us how it works in layman's terms?
In layman's terms, we hold worldwide patents on our product, and what we have actually done is we use geospatial technology, which, as a quick example, is we build an electronic boundary around a property. All data collected within that property is automatically loaded onto our platform. With Meat and Livestock Australia, we have been the first to deliver a full electronic NVD, National Vendor Declaration, which is the way bill for the movement of livestock. And working with MLA and LSAV, the LPA, we've been able to complete that task. We're now going through the final phase trial, which is expected to be completed by the 2nd of October.
Is this world first technology, and ultimately who's going to benefit from it?
I think there's a win-win for the consumer, there's a win-win for the export, and there's also a win-win for the farmer. Using livestock as an example, what we've actually built is that full traceability model, which means that the consumer in time will be able to walk into a supermarket with a smartphone, read the barcode or the embedded RF code, and that will translate back to the region that animal's come from. The same will apply to fruit, vegetable, wine and a range of other products that we're actually working with right now.
What's going to stop the counterfeiters replicating your coding technology and pulling a Swifty?
With wine as a classic example, the biggest issue they've had has been the replacement of labels with a similar or like label, and substituting it with a poor quality wine. Now that drives down the value of that particular supplier's wine because of the poor quality. What we've been enabled to do using our geospatial technology, we can identify where the grapes come from, we can identify how they've been transported to the processing plant, And using that same geospatial technology, we actually embed into the label a date, timestamp and geo coordinates for where that bottle was produced. That can only be read through an Aglive app.